All right, hello everyone. This is Daniel Higgins coming to you live, and I wanted to have a little bit of a chat with everyone about the leadership lid and the law of the lid. This information is made popular by Mr. John C Maxwell. He is absolutely, I think, the best author about leadership that you can learn from. So we want to take information from him and learn from all the things that he's done over his career. Hello, Scotty. What's going on? This is Daniel Higgins coming to you guys. I want to make sure I give just a few minutes to have everybody come in. Let's see. All right. So we're going to be talking about the leadership lid. I love this topic about leadership. It's definitely something that I'm extremely passionate about. It's something that I enjoy a lot, talking about different leadership principles. I was privileged enough to get just to kind of give you a little bit of an introduction to me, just in case this is the first time you're hearing me speak. I was able to get my associate's degree a few years ago, several years ago actually, in leadership. So it's definitely one of the topics that I really enjoyed as I learned and went through all those different leadership classes to get my associate's degree. And I learned so much about it, but I have to be honest, when I look back at that experience and when I compare it to what I'm going to talk about now, I've definitely learned a lot more with the exposure and actual practicing the information and being exposed to different leaders right now that are on our Wealth Builders Worldwide team. And I'll discuss that a little bit later. So we'll jump into it right here. So the reason for this chat is because earlier today, I was at a Hallelujah Day, a praise day at my church for kids to celebrate everything that's going on with this month. And I got into a discussion with one of my close friends, and we're just discussing business and discussing jobs, work, employment, all that, things like that. And of course, the topic came up about organizations changing, how organizations, as they change and grow, the leadership changes and adapts, and you really feel the leadership lid, and you actually feel this. This is something that everyone has experienced because everyone has been in or exposed to leadership or someone else's influence. So it's either a positive influence or it is a negative influence, but everyone has been influenced by someone. So the reason why I use the word influence is because based on what we're talking about, John C Maxwell, all right, Leadership 101, he has a few amazing books, definitely you want to pick him up. So John C Maxwell, he breaks down leadership and he says, leadership equals influence, okay? So leadership equals influence. I'm going to say that again. Leadership equals influence. So a wonderful, wonderful stat that he discusses at even just the introduction of this very small, very thorough book is that each of us throughout our lives are going to have influence over, at the very least, over our lifetime, we're going to have influence over at least 10,000 people. So you and I will at least, at minimum, everyone that's listening to the stream now or later, everyone who's listening on Periscope or Facebook Live, you will influence at least 10,000 other people in your lifespan, okay? Obviously, it might be higher for some people, but on average, you're going to influence, you're going to lead, you're going to influence, someone's going to be influenced by you, at least 10,000 people you'll influence. So you're not in a situation where we're talking about this and this doesn't apply to you. This applies to everyone on the planet. So everyone will have at least 10,000 people that they influence over their lifespan. So that could be good or it could be negative. So another really good quote that he talks about that I just had to pause when I read it. He said, people in the hands of the right leader are like treasures, or they come out to be treasures. So in the hands of the right leader, you can become a treasure. So everything rises or falls with leadership. Everything rises and falls with leadership. So earlier today, like I said, I was having a discussion with my friend, and he was discussing a company. The company prior was having some issues because of the influence of certain people in key places, right? So that structure wasn't benefiting from the leadership of that or the influence, because the influence was negative. It wasn't able to reach out to others and collect people's information, collect other people's views and ideas. It was very selective in terms of who was going to watch or participate in helping the organization actually grow and thrive. So of course that triggered me, because whenever we talk about different organizations and there's a leadership topic, I just start thinking about John Maxwell and thinking about all the things that I've read with him. So that was huge, because he said now they have a shift. So they've shifted leadership, or the influence has changed, and now they have more of an environment that's welcoming. They have more of an environment that is open to communication, because certain leaders, the way they influence people, they may not be open to information from other people because of their leadership style. Okay, so they might be lower on the leadership lid or the leadership skill. So if they have, so just to walk you through the leadership lid and the law of the lid based on what John Maxwell kind of has it envisioned, right? So if your personal leadership, if your personal influence is a 3 or a 4, you're never going to be leading people that are 7s and 8s. Obviously, your leadership style or your leadership or your influence is maybe at a 4 or 5, so you will lead people at a 4, a 3, a 1, or 2. And this is not to categorize people in a negative way. This is just being aware of your leadership skill, okay? Your influence over people, how you influence. Do you have an awareness of that? So you might not be aware of that influence that you have, because like I started the stream off, everyone will at least influence over 10,000 people in their lifespan. So you will influence people. You are a leader, and there is a lid on the leadership. If you allow that leadership lid to be a negative thing, it can be, but we're going to focus on it being a positive thing. So that's what's really cool about this. So you could push up to, and how do you grow as a leader? How do you influence people in a more positive way? You read more books. You get exposed to other leaders that are doing the same. You hear other leadership styles. You adapt. You start communicating better because of the fact that you're reading about leadership, and you can view things in a different way and approach things in a different way for other people because of that. So that's a skill that everyone can use, and that's a skill that everyone can have, because you're already going to influence over 10,000 people in your lifespan, so you might as well know how to do it effectively. So you're going to have to take the time and read more about it. Reading books like Think and Grow Rich, anything from John C Maxwell, the 21 indisputable laws of leadership, learning about the laws of success. So like this book, The Laws of Success, all of these books will kind of help grow you as a leader. So I probably shouldn't have took that big buck out. People are like, oh my gosh, that book is so big. That book is amazing, by the way. So as we talk about leadership, he goes through an example, and this example is really neat because it actually illustrates something that everyone can follow. So he illustrates in this book, actually before the movie came out, obviously. So the movie The Founder has come out, and it depicts the Ray Kroc, who has pushed the envelope when it comes to franchising, especially in the McDonald's corporation. And it talks about the actual McDonald brothers, right? So during this time in this book, he actually is using that story to illustrate the leadership lid, okay? So the McDonald's brothers had a vision of McDonald's being across the United States, those golden arches being everywhere. They had that vision. So their leadership lid, or the law of the leadership lid, only allowed them, because of their leadership skill maybe being a 4 or 5, and they never really changed that and grew that, they stayed local. Okay, they stayed local. They had one time when they, of course, tried to expand the McDonald's as we know it. They had that system in place, and the system was working. The system was working where it was at. It was working. But they limited that system because they had in themselves limitations, okay? So those limitations, of course, kept their business local. And then here comes Ray Kroc, who sees everything and has that same vision that the McDonald's brothers had when they created McDonald's and that amazing system that they had. He sees the vision, and because his leadership skill was higher than theirs, he was able to push franchising throughout the United States, pushing it. And he connected different people and continued to push that social agenda. He continued to push that. So because of the lid that the McDonald's brothers had on their skill, their leadership or their influence skill, it kept McDonald's local in that one place. And then once Ray Kroc grabbed that information and saw that system, he went ahead and was like, I'm going at it. So he started franchising aggressively, and definitely watch that movie. But it's a perfect illustration of what we're talking about today, which is the leadership lid. Okay, so everything, and I want to make this statement, everything rises and falls with leadership. And that illustration of the McDonald's brothers having control of the company and then Ray Kroc having control of the company, you can see that there's a gap. The leadership, the system was the same. Guys, the system was the same. They had the same exact system, okay? But he just took it and just continued to push and tweak and connect more people. So McDonald's stayed here with the McDonald's brothers, and then with Ray Kroc, he just took it a whole nother level. And obviously, it has exploded. So you have that franchise growing, right? So you have that franchise growing. So everything rises and falls with leadership. So earlier today, we had our amazing power call with our Karatbars International, our Wealth Builders Worldwide team. And what's so amazing about our Wealth Builders Worldwide team is the leadership that's in our team. Our leaders, and one thing about the leadership lid, obviously there's certain skills that you'll develop as you persist and you continue to grow in leadership. There's some things that you will experience that you can now turn around and give to someone else because you've experienced it. All right. So someone with experience is never at the mercy of someone with a theory. Okay. So someone with experience is never at the mercy of someone with a theory or what they think or perceive something is, when this person has actually walked it and done it. So I bring this up because we get to tap into the best leaders I have ever been around. All right. So earlier today in our power call, we had Miss Maxine Jones lead the call. Amazing information from Eric Worre, and just everything really came together. Then you have Dr. Dennis Staggerwall, who is a world-renowned chiropractor. He jumps on the call and adds some amazing information that's going on with our Wealth Builders Worldwide business, our Karatbars global business. Then you have Mr. Ty Best, who has been financially free for over 20 years and has developed and owned companies, and he's chiming in with his 20 plus years of experience, and even Dr. Dennis with his 20 plus years of experience in this industry, building massive organizations. Okay? They've both built massive organizations within this industry. So they're leaders that have experience. They're leaders that are at like a 10. All right? So we get to tap into the leadership of a 10, 20. We get to tap into Mr. Ty Bass. We get to tap into Dr. Dennis Staggerwall, who has so many years of experience. So here's the really cool thing about the leadership lid when it comes, or the law of the leadership lid, or the law of the lid, when it comes to our Wealth Builders Worldwide team. And just listen to what I'm saying, guys. This is so important. As you start your entrepreneurial journey, okay, you start your entrepreneurial journey, if you're honest with yourself, you're going to realize where you're at in your skills in certain areas. You're going to identify shortcomings in your skills in certain areas. While you are developing in those areas, you can still tap into the leadership of Mr. Ty Best and Dr. Dennis Staggerwall. You can tap into the leadership of Mr. Michael Delco, who has been financially free now for 4 years, right? And he left his job at Wells Fargo. He retired himself. In 103 days, he retired himself because, like I said, everyone has the power of influence. Everyone has leadership. Everyone's going to influence about 10,000 people all across their lifespan. His leadership lid was higher than most people, and he put in the work. He put in the work, right? So you have these 3 amazing people, amazing leaders that have continued to hone their skills in leadership over years. With our Wealth Builders Worldwide team, you get to tap into people who have already developed their leadership to a high level. As I mentioned, Miss Maxine Jones. I didn't get to mention Miss Sheila Abrams, who is literally a CEO in California and a real estate investor, right? So she has been closing down some of her businesses, her traditional businesses, because of the growth of her Carrot Bars international business. You get to tap into someone who's been a CEO for several years and who had to learn how to shift from being the CEO and owner, because at that position, obviously, you're in an authoritative position. So when you give guidelines and information, it comes more from a authoritative place. And when you shift over here to our Carrot Bars, our Wealth Builders Worldwide business, this is all independent business owners. I mentioned the word franchising earlier today because we are independent business owners, all right? So Carrot Bars affiliates have the free will to do whichever they like. They can follow a simple 3-step system, or they can ignore a simple 3-step system. They can tap into the success of a whole system, a global system that's operating right now in over 100 countries, or they can choose not to. That's completely up to them. And we're not here to force people to do anything, because once again, with us influencing over 10,000 people over our lifespan, they in turn have that turn to influence and turn around and influence people in whatever way they like, right? So it's an exciting thing to see how we can tap into the leadership styles of all these different entrepreneurs. You have Sherry and Willie Brown. Mr. Brown has been in or on Comic View. He has been big time top comedian way before Mr. Kevin Hart came into the scene. All right, he's performed with amazing comedians. I have to put out that other picture that he took with another comedian. But he's performed with different people across the world, and he's part of our leadership team. So we have such a diverse leadership team. Then we have Mr. Roger Williams, Mr. Rodney Berger, 2 amazing technical geniuses that have created a wonderful website for us that we can tap into for free. So, I mean, you have leaders in all different walks of life being able to turn around and pour into other people as we continue to grow and raise our level of leadership. And not to mention Mr. Alan Austin, who is one of the top financial minds that we've ever encountered and a proud Carrot Bars affiliate. He advises high-level executives, CEOs, CFOs currently right now. He's responsible for driving global organizations, and he is a Carrot Bars affiliate. So I'm going to say it again. He's responsible for driving global organizations in his normal job. high level, and he has selected Karatbars International. So we have such a vast team that you could tap into and enjoy the benefits of leadership that has been developed while you develop your leadership style and your leadership skill as you continue to push your lid up as you're reading and growing and interacting with people. You can still tap into what our Wealth Builders Worldwide team is doing all over the world. And not to mention, we have Mr. Mark Priors, who is a 20-year tax professional and proud Karatbars affiliate, and he will scream from the mountaintops all of the reasons why the IRS is telling you to have a home-based business, and he walks you through why to do that, and he'll walk you through why he thinks Karatbars International is the best home-based business, and he'll walk you through that. So we have leaders in every different facet of life. We have leaders all over this world growing. I had the pleasure, of course, talking to Mr. Isaac a little while ago via Facebook Messenger, and he's over in South Africa growing a massive team, and his team is on the live trainings. We have live webinars for them Monday and Thursday, and you could tap into those also. And then we have our webinars kind of geared a little bit more towards the United States on Tuesday night and Thursday night. So once again, on those 4 presentations in the week, you can get to tap into the leadership of some very high level people who understand how to present information effectively and have that leadership skill already honed to like a 10, 11, 12. And you get to tap into that. So I love our Wealth Builders Worldwide team. I love chatting about leadership because it's something that it's just a topic that I love. I've enjoyed it for several years. And then John Maxwell just brings it all together in this little Leadership 101 book and a few other books. So guys, if someone is sharing this information with you, get back with the person that's sharing this information with you. If you want to be part of leaders that are pushing their leadership lid, that are growing every day, every moment, week to week, year to year, who have serious goals to help support other people's goals and dreams, who seriously want to give back in every way they can to help people develop and grow and build stronger families, households, and help people create more income for themselves, get back with the person who's sharing this video with you. If that person is me, inbox me or click on my profile. For everybody on Periscope, click on my profile and see my actual website there on Periscope. If you're watching on Facebook, I'm going to put up my link momentarily, or just go back to one of my previous posts and jump on the link that I share and get your affiliate registration started. We are growing every moment, every day. We have a special Wealth Builders Worldwide Facebook page, and we keep welcoming new members, welcoming business packages, upgrades. I mean, it's non-stop. It's always happening, and it's happening all over the world. So joining a team in a business that has a 6-year track record, we're not experimenting, there's no guinea pigs in Karatbars International. And I have to take a time and pause because I talked about leadership. I talked about the leadership lid. So I have to cap this off with the Karatbars International CEO and founder, Mr. Harold Seitz. Okay, Mr. Harold Seitz has been serving on the Economic Council for Europe for an extended period of time. So we're talking about leadership lid. His lid is way up there. Okay, so he has understand leadership principles. He's understand financial principles for several years, and he serves on the Economic Council for Europe. So you have that. He just wrote a book, and that book is awesome. I have mine on the way. But I'm telling you, the leadership that we have on our team is excellent. All right? It is excellent. And you can tap into all of the leaders on our team, including the amazing CEO. So what's going on, Trish Mitchell? So I encourage you, get back with the person who's sharing this information with you, and connect with them. Ask them questions. Ask them to share their link with you so that you can be exposed to the best leadership team that has ever been assembled that will affect change throughout this globe. Okay, we are Wealth Builders Worldwide. We're actively in over 100 countries. Our team is growing all of the time. So you want to be connected to something that's growing. You want to be connected to leaders that care. You want to be connected to leaders that are continuing to grow and push their lid up so that they can pull people up too with them to support their goals and dreams. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Enjoy the replay if you didn't catch it live, and I will talk with you again soon.